call the meeting to order at, what would that be, a couple minutes before 5. I already signed those bills there, so if you want to sign those, send them over to Tom.
National Grid, like we can't pay it if we don't sign it.
Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes, or are you just reading them?
I'm still reading them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was fine with the minutes, whatever you want to call that one.
When you're done there, Tom, let me know, all right?
Yep.
Terry, what were those two, we're paying people that, was that just overpayments?
Yes,
They sent the wrong amount?
correct.
Now, on that project that we're just talking about up there on Lincoln Street, you guys are aware that there's a 4-inch main up there, isn't there?
Yeah, so they'd have to increase the water, they'd have to replace the water main.
That should get brought up tonight at the meeting,
All right.
since we probably won't get sets of the plans before,
Yeah,
if it ever goes forward.
Who, you gotta bring it up, or who's gonna, are they bringing it up, or?
Wait, you're gonna be there?
I didn't plan on going.
Oh, okay, I'll bring it up I figured if you were there, it should be you.
I thought they were just rezoning the thing at this point, because usually when these projects come along, the town has a meeting and they get together and try to figure out how they can shoot it down. In this case, the thing got rushed right into a special town meeting, so I'm guessing everybody likes whatever it is.
Everybody except for people that live there, I think.
Well, they already knew that eventually there could be a market across the street from them. You know, everybody on that street, except the new houses, may not have known, but.
Yeah.
Now, they have to bring that 12-inch main that they'd be running to the buildings down there. They'd have to run that
From like West Street.
all the way to West Street.
Yep.
Because that's where it's dead ended. They can't get it at Crescent Street because there isn't a 12
Right.
there. The other thing is when they tie into the 12 on the other end of Lincoln Street, that main, that 12-inch main that they tie into
Yeah.
is only fed by an 8.
Well, this can't happen all that quick, so we should have time to push something in.
No,
No,
I saw something
no,
about.
what
they need a
I'm
traffic
worried about
study
is
and-
that I wanna make sure we're off the hook for paying for it, because
Yeah.
if we end up, somebody goes in there and tries to say, you know, the tax revenue will go up. They'll make out like a bandit, but water revenue will get slammed because we'll have to put, with prevailing wage, we'll have to run a 12-inch water main from West Street all the way down to the other end and tie it in.
Well,
So-
we need to look, anything if they're opening up 106, we wanna make sure anything that's getting,
They should replace everything before they
Yeah.
pave it. This town doesn't do it right. I mean, if you look at like in East Bridgewater where they're doing the CVS, they've replaced all the utilities as they move down that street before they pave it. We don't, we just kind of pave over everything and leave everything.
Well,
this is gonna be a couple years off, because it's
Yeah.
gonna take some time to do that
Yeah,
intersection.
there's some study, I think that I saw something about the state has to do a traffic study and it's not that fast tracked.
well, there's gonna be a,
It's just, nothing can happen unless we rezone it first, I
Right.
think is what the deal is.
Yeah.
I don't know how much detail we're going into tonight. Is there anything else on the agenda, do you know?
No, I think that's it. Because we kind of raced it, I forgot to tell you last week because we moved through so fast, but it was quick. There was minimal notice to do anything.
Well, I didn't realize, I'd never even noticed the signs until somebody told me.
did they ask you about the water main at all?
No, I've never asked anything. I think all they're concerned is it's the planning board, I think, that has brought this forward to rezone it.
Tom, you done with the minutes?
Some wording needs to be fixed here.
Okay.
If you wanna look at it too, let's see.
Yeah.
One,
Which one? Did I miss it?
2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph down, we talk about the C900.
Yep.
It says, Mr. Kruger also stated that they are going to change the main to C900 ductile steel.
Okay.
I think what that should say is change the main to C900.
Well, no,
Yeah.
C900 is PVC.
It's plastic.
I get it, but it says C900 ductile steel.
Right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Take out ductile.
No, but we told them, when we said they couldn't.
Well, that's what I'm
change
saying,
the
it's supposed to stay ductile steel, but C900 ductile steel isn't a thing.
No.
Right, it's
Two
not,
separate
no
things.
such thing.
Yeah, right, they're two separate things. Take the C900 out and change it to.
Well, they wanted to
Well,
change it. but
Mr.
they-
Kruger stated that they wanted to change it to C900.
Right, but if.
Period.
right,
Okay, yeah. So
But then we
we're gonna
discussed
duct the
it.
Steel
Right. Yeah, they came back and asked if they could, what the main size was on Brooks Place. Of course, I think that's a 6-inch. That doesn't help me either.
But then
They're
it should,
still trying to find shorter ways to get to where they need to be.
Yeah. So it's a lot of pipe to lay.
Right,
but it needs to say in here that we voted to keep it ductile iron, correct?
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
And I notified David Gagney of that too, that if he talks to them again, to tell them that the board said it had to be ductile.
Yeah. They know, cause he, I forget his name, but he called me.
Oh, he did, okay. Another thing,
Do we wanna fix
Oh,
this
yeah.
now?
What am I
Okay.
taking out, the C900?
Alright, so yeah, so it's gonna say, Mr. Kruger also stated that they wanted to change the main to C900, period.
And then continue with Mr.
And then it
Kruger
should
also
say
stated-
that the board, I mean, you can leave what's in there, but the board basically made a decision to leave it ductile iron.
Right.
Yeah, because the vote wasn't taken as a decision, right?
Or ductile
We
steel. And also
decided
down-
not, we already had voted to change it, we
Right.
just decided not to change, not to allow it.
So the board made a decision to what?
To not change it.
To not allow them to put the C900.
to keep it ductile steel. And then also down here a little further, it says because the C900 ductile steel is so expensive, but it's because the ductile steel is so expensive.
Not take out the C900?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it should say, Mr. Kruger also stated that they're gonna change the main to C900.
That they wanted to change.
That they
Should say Kruger also stated that they
wanted to change.
wanted to change to C900.
Mr. Kruger also stated, also stated that because the ductile steel is so expensive, they were seeing, trying the rest of that sentence and then write, the board made a decision to keep it ductile steel.
Yes.
Yes.
So pretty much so.
Now, if they, I don't know how much water they're gonna need down there, and if they need to have that 12-inch, if they run a 12-inch, say down Lincoln Street, and they're gonna tie into the West Street 12-inch, the other end of it, like I said, was tied to an 8. What they could do is go from Greta Bohannon's house down to the intersection of Pleasant and South Elm. Connect that 12, there's two 12-inch mains there, dead ended, and that would give them a flow, a 12 in both directions.
It's a lot of pipe.
It's a lot of pipe, right, but I'm just saying, I don't know how big this
Well,
building's
you know,
gonna be.
that's the thing, I mean, until they come up with that kind of detail, and one of the things we need to do is when they start talking serious about this, is that we're involved, and that they get the information and get the water model to be used to figure out what they need for service.
Yeah.
And
Because if
then,
they build something like the thing on Elm Street, they're gonna have to have fire pump, and there's no way we'd put fire suppression in a building that tall. That thing's huge,
Yeah, I know.
and that's not a low part of town.
The other thing is that what they could
Not
do
some of the
is
higher-
forget tying into West Street. They could go back to Crescent Street, which is just a little ways up the street, and tie into the 16. Bring
Right.
a 16 down from Crescent down west,
Well, they're gonna be
over
redoing,
to Lincoln
if they
Street.
redo that intersection, run it right straight through that piece of Crescent, right out across Crescent.
Yeah.
Lincoln Street will line up
Yeah.
with Crescent Street now,
Yeah,
when, if they do all.
so that
this.
might be better than tying into the 12.
Yeah.
And any old pipe in that intersection,
Gone.
change
Get
it.
rid of it.
Yeah,
Because we didn't do that at the
Right,
site.
they
Nothing
should
got
always
changed.
replace 20 feet to the other, outside of whatever they're doing on an intersection.
Yeah, do everything in that intersection.
oh,
And leave off a T off whatever they're doing for, that little High Street there that you wanna redo. Because then when you cut it off, you can get rid of that
Right.
old main. So do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I didn't get a new copy, did I? Did you make copies?
Yeah. Read that one.
We're saving a tree one branch at a time.
Hmm?
We're saving a tree one branch at a time.
don't bother, there's so many branches that come down with all these windstorms we've had.
Actually, it's supposed to get windy, I think, tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon I thought was supposed to be pretty bad, not as bad as it's been. but-
Right.
That Lincoln Street water main was put in 1912.
Time to change it.
The water department started in 1910, so.
One of the first ones,
Yeah. One of the first monies in there.
I mean, the good thing is they're all clear and clean. They're not tuberculated out.
No? All set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion, approve the minutes of August 31st, 2020 as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This one is the old one, I don't want to get confused. Old, so we signed the abatements, we signed the warrants. Oh, I had one question, that's repair for, under auto repair in there for $1,400 for the power washer,
Yeah, we had to replace the tubing inside.
the coil one?
Yeah, the coil went.
Huh. What, did it just rot out?
Yeah, it had a hole in it.
Okay, under our old business, there's nothing to discuss about the water rate, right? That's
No,
all.
I submitted everything, I didn't hear anything back.
No, I actually saw Gagny, I was up there for something else, for
Yeah.
a different committee last week, and he said he'd given it to her to
Yeah.
review, and he said when they heard something, it's let us know.
All right.
But yeah, that, other than he's passed it along. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Update,
So the well, the water permit, and the update on the new water source and the asset management grant. I have a meeting with Tatter and Howard on Wednesday, so I'll ask them about all of that at that time, and then I'll update you at the next meeting. But they weren't, they were agreeable to putting in steps,
Okay.
but they must have got nervous when we kicked back at them, and suddenly they wanted to meet with me.
Yeah, they got their attention.
Yep.
Who are you meeting with now?
So it's, I forget, Patrick, I don't know where he is, I'll ask
What
him.
happened to Patrick, you know?
I have no idea, I just know at the same time he disappeared, the Megan girl who had a lot to do with Station One left also, so I don't know, I've asked and all she
do
did
you
is.
think he's not with the company anymore?
No, he's still, because he's head of the Mass Water, or he's head of something right now, he's the current president. I think he's still with them, because they didn't say he left, they just said that he wasn't in, and they wouldn't ad lib it all.
You think they'd give us some explanation?
Right. But if they ever have meetings again, I'll see him at the meeting and say, what the heck?
Who is our representative from them now?
I can't think of his name, but I do have somebody who's been contacting me. And then I see a few other people but there's one guy in particular.
Does anybody have anything else that they want to bring up?
I made out the job postings, I went to post it, but, it seems the town's human resources director wants to,
Oh, thank you.
feels that they should be running the show, so I kinda kicked back at her and
Who was that?
that's Linda Torres,
Go upstairs in
yeah, in David's
David's
office.
office.
So I gave it to her, and suddenly now she wants to have a meeting. I'm like, it should have already been up on the web. So I'll ask her to, when I see her, I meet with her tomorrow, and I'll say, listen, let's just put it up there and see what we get, because out of this pool of candidates, we'll find somebody.
I mean, why did she say that they wanna have a
Because
say?
she's the human resources director.
What does that have to do with anything?
But the hire is the water department. It doesn't
Yeah,
come
so I
out of
kind
the
of pushed
town
back on
budget.
her on that. I told her that she could be involved in the interviews, you know, and any time that we speak with anybody, that's fine. The town has an account with Indeed, so if they can put it up at a higher level, maybe we'll get a higher level of
Okay.
candidate. So I didn't mind that, because when we just post it out there, if you're not paying anything, then they push you down and you just see the lower things, or,
All right.
I mean, you see people, but it's not what we're looking for.
Well, so that might help then.
Yeah, it's possible to help, but I'll try to push her along and say, let's get moving.
Is our water sales still up? We've been pumping good, or is that dropped off?
We're still holding. I come through Harvestwood every morning, and you know, those that aren't watering yet, but those that are still watering, because we haven't had any serious water in a long time.
That's why I was wondering if it's dropped off.
It's still holding, it has not dropped off. I mean, it's not at 1 million gallons a day, but it's, you know, it's
What are
still
we at?
up there. I can't tell you now because they're flushing the hydrant, so it's intermingled with it.
Okay.
So I
Even
usually
with flushing, what are we up to? What do you think? 800?
I think we saw 1 million on one day, but then we're down in the 7s or 8s the other days, which is still better than 5s.
Good for this time of year.
Right,
I mean,
and
what is
there's
it?
no rain in sight for at least the next week, and it's gonna go warm again, so those who want green lawns are gonna continue to splash
How
them
the
with all
wells
they
holding
go.
How's the water table?
The water tables, we're not hurting any, the wells have stayed right about where they are. It has dropped down, but it's not in any critical thing.
Okay. And all the pumps are running well?
Everything's running well. I just wish that, I have, towards the end of October, I'm gonna take mainly offline and we'll have it rehabilitated. It was supposed to be done last year, but they couldn't get to me. And when they did want to, we were back in peak season now, so I told them, you know, do it mid-October. Because I have to have that 300 or 400 gallons a minute in addition to what I pull out of here. I can't put 2 stations online from this end.
Right.
Do you still feel we got a significant leak out there? A big one or just a bunch of little ones?
I think there's probably a pile of little ones, you know, like we did the one up on High Street in Church. Those holes have been there for a long time. So it's things like that that are probably kicking us. And I'll see if I can pick a 2-inch main that the town is willing to repave the street behind us and try to abandon at least one of them. At least we get on a move. It's something we can do in-house, because if you can pick at it at a time and they're gonna come behind and pave it over, then that's a good thing.
And that last list that Chris
There were-
gave you, there aren't any of those.
There aren't
on
any,
it.
so I'll ask them if maybe we can, you know, they could, you know, pick one of them. I'll send them the list of the 2-inch mains and say, you know, I'd like to abandon at least one of these next year.
See if one of it works for them.
Right.
Tom, you got anything?
No.
It's amazing. We don't have too many meetings when nothing big broke and
No.
has to be replaced,
No, it's, been going,
and everything's running.
right.
Well, that's a good thing for a change. How about you, Kerry? You got any issues?
Just the next meeting is gonna be Monday, October 5th.
5th?
Yes, 5.
October 5th?
Mm-hmm.
motion to adjourn if we don't have anything else to discuss.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have anything. Do you, Tommy? No, let's- Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
PFAS.
Call the meeting back to order at 5:20. David Gagney and I spoke to DEP on that testing that they want, that Wade had signed up for.
PFAS, right?
And what it's all about, from what they were explaining to us, this isn't put out by EPA. This is put out by DEP of Massachusetts, all on their own. Maybe a couple other states are doing it. But that additive, that product that's in the foam that the firefighters use, and it's only in some of the foam, not all the foam. I guess it could cause cancer, but low amounts, they're not really sure how much, but they're looking for it in parts per trillion, and they're finding that it's almost everywhere. The other problem is that we asked them, well, now that you know that, this product is not only in foam,
No, it's not.
it's in all our clothes and everything.
Yeah.
It's the, what they use to keep spots and stuff from getting on your clothes and make it fire retardant and help it clean better. While at the same time, when you wash your clothes, this product's washing out and going down into the septic systems. The septic systems are now putting it into the water supply. So David and I asked them, so are you banning it, making it illegal in Massachusetts? So they said no.
No.
So we said, well, that's kind of senseless. Why do you have us taking it out when you're not even trying to stop people from putting it in? And they said, well, there could be a chance that somebody, could get cancer from it. And they needed to have us take it out. We asked them what the process is for removal, and they said carbon. The carbon would remove it. So Easton and Mansfield, I think it was, and a couple other towns tested, and they all found it.
Yeah.
They say that almost every place that tests for it is going to find it because it's everywhere. This product is intertwined into our everyday life more than we.
Yeah, it's
even
not
know.
just a foam like.
No, it's been
they-
used
they're
for a long
sounding
time.
for it, Yeah.
And it's still being used.
So, they said that if we take part in it now, they'll pay for the testing. Otherwise, by next fall, we have to test for it anyways. So I suggested, I come back and talk to you guys, I told them, they said that they would come out and meet us, talk to us at a meeting about doing the testing. And if we did find it in our water like these other towns, we would get the chance to get some grant money from the state to help at no interest. Well, it wouldn't be grant money, it would be a loan at no interest.
no.
But they can't guarantee how many people in the future are gonna be putting their name in. So the earlier that you got your name in, the better chance of you to get the no interest loan. So I thought that if Wayne invited these guys, one of them or both of them, to come out and meet at our meeting, and so that, the other two here can get an understanding of what this is all about.
Yeah.
I don't know, we're gonna have to, the way I see it, we're gonna have to do something about it now, or we're gonna have to do something about it next year. So if,
If
it's
we do
up
it
to.
now, they might pay for it instead of we have to pay for it all on our own dime.
Right.
Next-
The other thing I asked is if the governor decided that this is something that we don't wanna be making all the towns take it out, where it's not an EPA regulation, it's something that DEP thought up. And the governor got it through, the House of Representatives and the Senate, state, to do away with it, would we, if even we tested and we found it, would we fall under the waiver? And he said, yes. So, that's, I'm not sure to listen to him and see if maybe we could get some free testing. But at the same time, I think we ought to get a hold of Governor Baker and tell him that this is kind of sounds like something we don't want, the state should be involved in unless EPA's doing it.
I'm sure Plymouth County Water and Mass Water Works are probably doing something along.
They've all kept an eye on it, but until they force the testing and then everybody fails, you can't put all the water systems suddenly building $4 million plants.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's not a case of adding something to our iron removal plant, it's a whole new
No,
plant?
carbon removal or the reverse osmosis is not, it's,
Oh, if
Well,
you
like-
had to do that, I thought you'd have to just.
Yeah.
So they said it would be just carbon would take
Yeah,
it
so
out,
you
so
gotta
we'd have to
have, like-
add another
So
container.
carbon filter.
right, so you'd
Right.
almost have like an iron removal plant for each of these things.
So
no,
another
wait.
add plant,
It would be an add-on, you just add another tank, like
Right.
at the iron removal plant.
Right.
Instead of having 4 tanks,
Right.
when that
one-
water's all done,
Right, that
when the
one's
finished
easy.
water would go through the carbon, and then it would
Down
go
here,
through
it
the street.
won't be.
These three are not.
The other ones, no, that's a different story,
Right.
they'd have to be, they would have to have another building.
Yeah,
leave it to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
No, they're not the only one though.
no.
There's other states doing it too.
I think I thought he said 5 other states in the country are pushing for it. But I was surprised that they're not banning the use of it in our everyday life if they're so concerned about it getting into the water supply.
Probably. 'cause
But
it's
they
too
still
much
use
of it.
asbestos today and make asbestos products, so just goes along.
So that's all I wanted to tell you. So if you could get a hold of them and
Yeah.
ask them to come into our next meeting, just so everybody's
Yeah,
up to understanding exactly what they're offering and what we'll have to do. I got a feeling too, is if even you fail, Easton and Mansfield, and those other towns, they're not building anything right now. They're trying to
It'll
get
take a
financing.
while. You have to find it, you have to budget for it. you have to
right, but I think it said that you have to notify your residents right away the minute you fail.
Let's hear what they got to say, and then we'll decide.
Okay, that's all I wanted to tell you. So we'll,
Anything else pop into your head while we were?
No, I try not to let anything.
okay, so we'll
Motion to adjourn again.
again.
Yep, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.